Hi, and welcome back. I am Kelly Davis in for Elaine Swan. And for our final guest, we have Phyllis Hall here with Me Always, here to talk about her company as well as LifeSharing organization. Hi, Phyllis.
Hi, Kelly. So nice to be here tonight.
I am so glad that you're here. So LifeSharing, can you tell us a little bit about what LifeSharing is, that organization? What do they do?
LifeSharing is a federally designated nonprofit to coordinate organ and tissue donation for San Diego and Imperial counties.
That's fantastic. And you are a volunteer with that organization?
Yes, I'm going to become actually a very active volunteer as I go out and share my story. I'll be taking LifeSharing along with me to encourage people to donate their organs.
And speaking about organ donation, now I know this company, LifeSharing, coordinates that kind of thing, I guess facilitates that whole process somehow?
Yes, they're set up in a building, and there are highly skilled professionals that work with the families as they perhaps they're in the hospital and the hospital lets them know that there might be a potential organ donor that could save the life or help someone in need. And that's what they do. They intervene and gently walk them through the process.
And with organ donation, how does one donate their organs? How do you say, hey, I want this to happen?
We all can do this, and I would encourage all of your viewers at home to really give it some thought. You can, through the Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, you're offered an opportunity to become an organ donor.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
And it gets right there on your license and they know.
It's a little pink dot. Yes.
That's great. And your organization, your company, With Me Always, works in concert somehow with LifeSharing. How does that work?
Well, it's truly a partnership made in heaven, I must tell you. My son was an organ donor, and he had the pink dot on his license, and he would be the first one to ask you when he met you if you had a pink dot on yours. He was a strong advocate for this program. Well, fast forward, he passed away with my stepson when he was 21 and almost 22. And I created this company actually out of my grief. I've had a beautiful journey with grief. And I suffered in my heart so deeply that I needed an outside reminder that there was still love growing in my heart. The grief just overwhelmed it and took over. It was like I'd had a forest fire. And I knew there was a little membrane left that carried love, but I couldn't feel the love. So I longed for a piece of jewelry to remind me that nothing could break the bond of love, and it was everlasting. And I couldn't find this piece of jewelry anywhere. So one night in my quiet time, this design came to me, and it was a heart with an angel, and it was perfect because I called my son Angel Heart. So I took this design to the jeweler and I asked him to create 3-piece pendants for me because I wanted a pendant for each of my children, including my daughter, who I loved and adored. Although, again, like I said, I just wasn't feeling it. I was so numb. And when I put my necklace on for the very first time, someone walked through the door of the jewelry shop. She saw my design and said, please make one for me. And that was the beginning. That was my first sale.
Well, it's a beautiful story, and I don't know if you can kind of get that here. This is one of the pieces that's created with Me Always, and it's not. Is it only necklaces? Is it more than that?
Well, actually, women kept asking me where they could get one, so it put me in business. Basically, I mean, they put me in business. I had to do it right, especially when I was honoring my faith. And so, and I had also, I must tell you, when the design came to me, I knew and understood that it was to be shared with people like me who were bonded by love.
And not only do you have this, but you also have a book.
Yeah, I've got this storybook. Every angel heart I've sold has its own special story. and it's always a love story. And my customers' stories are remarkable, but they wanted to know mine. They wanted to know what was my story. And as a grieving mom, it was sometimes not easy to share my story. So I wrote it as a fable that it could be shared, and it's actually like a bedtime story. And it's about the strength of family love for both adults and children.
Well, I'm going to hold this here for a moment, and I know we have graphics as well for all the things that you do. So with LifeSharing, the monies that you create through your company,
Well, on my website, as you check out, I've got some of the charities that I work with listed, and you can click on that and they'll receive a donation.
That's fantastic.
Or the nonprofits that I'm working with, like LifeSharing, they have their own URL. They can send out in their social media or newsletters, or just with their supporters, tell them about the Angel Heart Symbol of Love or the With Me Always storybook, and people that order it through their URL, then they also will receive a check. So my goal is to send them a check every month and make them as much money as I possibly can. This is a legacy of love.
Phyllis, I want to thank you for just saying yes to this and what you're doing, because this piece is absolutely beautiful.
I have to tell you something. When you said say yes, my husband teases me and he says, honey, why aren't you playing tennis? And I always tell him, it's because I can't tell God no.
Well, on that note, and since this is one of our holiday Oceanside Spectrums, With Me Always with Phyllis, this is the end of our show. Thank you so much for joining us.